American League Division Series with the Texas Rangers leading the Toronto Blue Jays 2-0 following a pair of victories north of the border. And a good evening, everybody. Kenny Albert along with Harold Reynolds, Tom Verducci, and Ken Rosenthal. The Texas Rangers are 1 win away from their first postseason series sweep in franchise history. No Adrian Beltre in the starting lineup for the Rangers tonight, injured in Game 1. Jeff Bautista, their manager, did tell us he is doing a lot better than when he came out of the game on Thursday. And Harold, with the Rangers up 2-0, with all the big names on both sides, who would have thought that 21-year-old Rougned Odor would be the MVP of this series to this point?
Incredible. The smallest guy on the field, too. But you know what I love about him? He comes to play every day. And it seems like in the postseason, you always learn about a guy when you watch him play every day and work out. This kid's always had that grit and that gut, but that talent is off the charts. He's got some power. He gets on base. He runs the bases. We've watched him handle the ball on defense. I've loved everything about him. But Ken, maybe the most impressive thing, he's like the 5th Rougned Odor in the family. He's got a brother Rougned, his dad's Rougned, his uncle's Rougned, and he's got a cousin Rougned. I mean, come on. If he gets another hit for all the Rougneds, no telling what he might do tonight.
Well, he is the only Rougned who is getting the job done for the Texas Rangers in this series. He has scored 5 runs, Tom. The Blue Jays have scored only 7. During the regular season, they won 93 games, led all the baseball and home runs. They are 1 loss away from the end of their season.
Certainly a different story than the regular season, because on the Major League Baseball block, the Blue Jays were the bullies. You talk about an offense leading in just about every category: runs, home runs, and the unofficial stat of embarrassing other pitchers. I mean, this team loves to blow out. This team loves to blow out teams. And really, the middle of the lineup is the backbone. You talk about the right-handed power. Bautista, Donaldson, and Encarnacion combined for 120 home runs. And Troy Tulowitzki joined this lineup. But what the Rangers have done, they have stood up to the bully. They have kept pitches down and away from these power hitters. And they've done one other thing, Kenny. They've kept the games close. You mentioned the Blue Jays have won 93 games. But when the games are decided by 1 or 2 runs, they are 14 games under 500.
Well, tonight at Arlington, the Blue Jays will try and stave off elimination. It's Game 3 of the ALDS. Can the Texas Rangers, after winning the first 2 on the road, sweep the American League Eastern Division champions and advance to the ALCS? Or will the Toronto Blue Jays win their first playoff game in 22 years and extend this series to tomorrow afternoon? Game 3, Blue Jays, Rangers, next. Toronto. The bottom of the order did the damage for the Rangers in their 5-3 victory. And then in game 2, it took 14 innings. Texas with 2 at the top of the 14th as they swept the first 2 at Rogers Center. Rangers back at home take the field for game 3. 24-year-old left-hander Martin Perez takes the mound for the Rangers. Underwent Tommy John surgery, missed 14 months, returned in mid-July, made 14 starts for the Rangers tonight. Guys, his first career postseason appearance and his first career start against the Blue Jays.
And there's one way to tell if he's on his game. How active is the left side of the infield? Sinker, changeup, left-handed pitcher against a power-hitting right-handed lineup predominantly.
Ben Revere will lead off for the Blue Jays, followed by Josh Donaldson. Jose Bautista hits third. Edwin Encarnacion in the cleanup spot. Then Chris Colabello. TULOWITZKI moved down to the 6th place in the batting order. And then Deontay Navarro, not Russell Martin, behind the plate tonight for the Blue Jays. Kevin Pillar, Ryan Goins round out the order. Defensively for the Rangers, around the infield, Moreland, Odor, Andrus, and Alberto. In the outfield from left to right, Hamilton, DeShields, and Chu. The battery of Perez and Chirinos.
And the 169 double plays, that's the key. And especially tonight with Perez throwing, if he can get that ground ball double play if he needs it.
First pitch of the game to Ben Revere is a fastball in for strike 1.
Don't be surprised, boys, you don't see Revere challenge third baseman here on this play. Alberto down there.
I thought I was down there for a minute.
Yeah. Kenny Albert playing third. I was like, I'm not doing Berto in there.
There he is.
You know, he played a lot of winter ball at third base in the Dominican, so he's played a lot of third in the past. And there's Adrian Beltre, obviously, who's replacing with the injury right now.
Left early in game 1. Alberto with the game-winning RBI in the top of the 14th in game 2.
Well, Tom, there it is. You see that hard sink.
Well, he's the guy who's actually become more of a ground ball pitcher post Tommy John. Before the surgery 17 months ago, 49% ground balls. Since surgery, 60% ground balls, a very high percentage.
The 1-2 to Revere, right back to the box. Easy play for Perez. Hallway. Well, Tom, you talked about the big bats in our open. Donaldson, Bautista, Encarnacion, and Tulowitzki. A combined 5 for 35 in the series. Here's Donaldson. He's 1 for 7. His only hit, a game 2 home run off Cole Hamels.
Well, you hear the chorus of boos.
And now cheers. Strike 1.
And then booing Donaldson, remember the other night in Toronto, the little stare down as he hit the foul ball and a little chirping back and forth. I loved it. It was just, that's what playoff baseball's about, man. Going back and forth at it with each other.
Bounce to the third baseman, Alberto.
Man, guys, this is what the Texas pitchers have done in these 3 games. Live down and away, especially soft. The Jays have not made the adjustment. Roll over, ground ball to third base for Martin Perez.
And that's what's so difficult about the postseason. When you can exploit and isolate on certain things, you can have great success in short chunks. And that's what they're doing right now. 2 games so far, and here we are into the 3rd game.
More boos as Bautista steps to the plate. 2 for 9 over the first 2 games. Three Rangers on the left side of the infield as Bautista fouls it off to the right. The 0-2 from Perez. Just missing inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, the one thing when you overplay everybody, the hitters got to know they're coming inside.
2-2.
Yeah, we talked about change-up, sinker combination, but those last two pitches, a big part of Martin Perez's game, pounding the ball in right there. That was the back foot slider. 2 strikes, he'll get that on the back foot, or he'll shorten that and throw it about 59 feet.
And if you're Bautista, all you're thinking, with the defense set up everybody on the left side of the infield, you know they're coming in. I want to make him get that ball up. If it starts at his waist and starts to sink, it's going to be tough. Thigh high, even worse. But you want to get that ball up and let it fly.
Payoff pitch from Perez, fouled off to the left side. A 93-degree evening in Arlington. Clear skies.
It's hot. Beautiful pitch. Change up away after busting him in, got him looking aside. Do the change up away.
A 13 pitch, 1-2-3 first for Perez. DESHIELDS will lead off for the Rangers, followed by Shin-Soo Choo, then Prince Fielder. Mitch Moreland bats cleanup. Elvis Andrus fifth. Josh Hamilton sixth. And then the hot bottom of the order, Odor, Chirinos, Alberto.
Albert.
Here's DESHIELDS leading off. And he has set the table in each of the first 2 games. First Ranger all time to open the postseason with back-to-back multi-hit games.
He's been swinging back great. Missed that one.
Pilar under it in center. 1 away.
Well, we saw Martin Perez with that great changeup. Estrada, one of the best changeups in all of baseball. In fact, has the most vertical drop on that changeup. Perez will stretch the strike zone horizontally. Estrada wants to stretch it vertically. Four-seam fastballs up. You got the fly ball from DESHIELDS on it right there. And then the nasty changeup down. Fly ball pitcher. And by the way, great job on that on the weather report there, Kenny. I was waiting on the barometric pressure. I was disappointed about that. But the ball was jumping during BP here.
Yeah, I was leaving that for you, Tom. Here's Chu, 1 for 9 in the series. The American League Player of the Month for September. Facing the 32-year-old right-hander Marco Estrada, his 8th Major League season, first as a Blue Jay, career best earned run average of 3.13. It's Estrada's first career postseason start. Came out of the bullpen for the Brewers 4 times during the 2011 playoffs.
You might be saying to yourself, where is Russell Martin? Navarro is his personal catcher, so they've got a nice little rhythm going, and all those things Tom was talking about with the changeup and moving the ball in and out. If you look at Russell, they've worked well together and stand with it.
This is now 17 straight starts for Marco Estrada with Gianna Navarro behind the plate.
You saw that pitch right there. Navarro framing it and Estrada looking back. They want that pitch. That was awful tight zone. That looked like a pitch that might be a strike. Now it goes 3-1 instead of 2-2. That changes the whole at bat for Chu.
The 3-1 from Estrada. Full count.
You know, Tom, we've seen a lot of tight zones and wide.
Maybe not tonight, though. Alfonso Marquez behind the plate. Probably more of a tighter zone than you're used to seeing, but solid umpire behind the dish.
Payoff pitch to Chu, and he pops this one up to the left side, foul territory. Long run for Donaldson. He makes the play for out number 2.
That was an interesting play. You know, he's in the shift, so he's coming over. He knows he's got a wall there, not afraid to dive into it. We've seen him do that enough this summer. But the fan that was right there ready to catch the ball, watch where Donaldson's at, right there at the top of your screen. He comes all the way over. He has to measure this. A lot of third basemen don't go this far. He makes that play. He had a lot of practice doing this in Oakland when he played for the A's, the largest foul territory in all of baseball. So for a guy to travel with third basemen, you don't see that very often. For him, routine play.
So with 2 away, here's Fielder. Prince 1 for 8 in the series. A 1-0 from Estrada. 1-1.
You know, it's interesting. I'm sorry. It's interesting. I was going to say, I'm interested in watching Prince where they defend him. With Chu and Odor, they're playing a big shift with the second baseman out in deep right field. Prince uses the field so much, he sprays the ball a little bit more than those guys, which is unusual for a big power hitter.
6th in the American League in batting average during the regular season. At .305, drove to 98 runs. Comeback year for Prince Fielder. Played in only 42 games last season due to a neck injury.
You see Estrada, he's almost trying to bore the hitter to death with that windup. Takes a very long time once he starts a movement to actually deliver the baseball. A lot of deception in the delivery being so slow, and that's how you get by with a 90-mile-an-hour four-seamer up high.
3-1, and the count is now full.
That's the nasty change.
Yeah, it was a nasty change up, and Prince wasn't looking for that either. But Tom, to your point, with the slow windup, you have to pick out a point as a hitter. When do I start my motion? See, Prince likes to have a toe tap where he sets, so he's got to wait to figure out what is the best timing for me to get back, and he's a little thrown off because of the delay of Estrada, and then boom, he drops the fastball.
A 1-2-3 first for Marco Estrada. make a plan to make it home. By T-Mobile, switch to the Un-carrier today. And by United Airlines, fly the friendly skies. Both teams went down in order in the first inning. Edwin Encarnacion leads off for the Blue Jays against Martin Perez here in the second. Encarnacion, originally drafted by the Texas Rangers, 2 for 9 in the series.
You know, I look at Encarnacion, COLABELLO on the on-deck circle, and TULOWITZKI. From watching the games, these three have been swinging the bats consistently the best in their lineup. The numbers may not be there, but they've had great swings.
As a team, the Blue Jays coming into play today, batting just 171 in the series, 14 hits and 82 at bats for John Gibbons over the first 2 games at home. They scored only 7 runs after averaging 5.5 per game during the entire regular season.
Yeah, that's frustrating when you run into good pitching, but they've had a great game plan, just pounding away and really exploiting their aggressiveness. And until they lay off like Encarnacion's doing here and start making adjustments, it's going to continue that way.
Line drive caught by ANDRUS for out number 1.
Another bullet. You know, these guys right here, there's a stretch. These 3 hitters swing the bat. It's another good swing right there. He didn't even leave the batter's box, Tom. That ball was hit so hard.
Almost sounded like a broken bat.
Yeah.
A great job by Perez and a hitter's count.
Perez working on 8 days rest. Last pitched on the 2nd of October against the Angels. One more look.
And again, if you're waiting for this Blue Jay team to hit the ball the other way, it's not happening. Not in the middle of the order. The game is to go yard.
One away, here's COLABELLO. Went 2 for 5 in game 2. Now start game 1.
Well, what a heck of a defensive play he made the other day. That ball spinning away from him in game 2. And then having the presence of mind to go home with that ball is a great play.
19 putouts for COLABELLO in game 2. Wow, 19 in the 14-inning game.
It's a heck of a month for a lot of people.
Behind in the count, 0-2 with TULOWITZKI on deck.
I see a little slight adjustment COLABELLO's making already. He's closed his stance off. When you're pulling off a changeup, you're not standing and you're pulling off everything. He takes that front foot, closes it off. Now that's going to keep him in a little bit more than pulling off and maybe be able to shoot the ball and adjust. You go ahead and you say, I'm not going to worry about the ball inside. He's looking to work this guy and stay on the ball. At least it's going to keep him in instead of pulling off. A little simple adjustment.
He's facing Perez for the first time. Only 3 of the Blue Jays starters have had an at-bat against Perez prior to tonight. Perez wins the battle. 2 down.
Well, you might have noticed John Gibbons had dropped Troy Tulowitzki's spot in the lineup here. Why? Just has not been swinging the bat well. One thing you'll notice, the 10 times that the Rangers pitchers been able to get Tulo, he's going outside the zone. 6 of his outs on balls out of the zone. A big key for me in game 2. They walked Encarnacion intentionally with the base open right here in game 2. That was the first and second at bat against Hamels. Walk knowing that they have a plan to get Tulowitzki out. The threat just not there right now. And I'll tell you guys, the scouting report on the Rangers also is he is not all the way back from that broken clavicle he had late in the season.
Just about 3 weeks, came back and played in 2 regular season games. Blue Jays 31-9 with Tulowitzki in the lineup following the trade from Colorado.
His second at bat in this series, he absolutely squared up a ball that just died before it got to the warning track in center field. The same violence in his swing is just not there.
Nice pitch. Come back with a changeup here, maybe. If I'm too low, we'll see what he does. But I still see. I think he's close. It's like Josh Hamilton. I think he and Josh Hamilton are very close. The numbers aren't there, but man, they're right there. Got the fastball.
Yeah, that bat I was talking about against Dyson is right here. This is a first pitch after the intentional walk. And Tulowitzki a little aggressive early in the count. That is great movement anyway. And again, chasing some pitches. A little anxiety. Maybe that's a function of really not being 100% healthy.
Moved from the 5 spot down to number 6 in the order for today's game. Looking for his first hit of the series. 0 for 10.
You think he comes back with a changeup here? 3-2? I bet he does.
Tulowitzki now 0 for 11. Second straight 1-2-3 inning for Martin Perez. Middle of the order for the Rangers here in the bottom of the second inning. Moreland, Andrus, Hamilton. Mitch Moreland 0 for 2 in the series. First pitch from Estrada, ball 1.
Now, during the season, Mitch Moreland really got a chance to take off. You see the numbers there because Prince Fielder said we're a better team with you on the field playing first. So he elected to move to the DH spot, which got Moreland in the lineup. It's kind of strange considering how long Moreland has been around here. But that was how their lineup was constructed early in the season. And that was a big turning point for the Rangers as well when that move was made.
And right fielder Moreland missed a heavy portion of the season in 2014. This year, the two of them combined to drive in 183 runs.
It's a lot of runs. Look at where Donaldson's playing. That's him at short right there in the middle of your screen. Into the shift. Moreland is retired.
I thought that last out of the first inning for Estrada really defined him as a pitcher. Watch the sequence of pitches. First, a changeup and hitters count way in front. Now he's going to come back with an 89-mile-an-hour fastball. Watch the swing. It's past fielder. How do you accomplish that? Change of speeds. 11-mile-an-hour difference between the changeup and the fastball. That's his game. Perez, not so reliant on the difference, the gap between changeup and fastball. He relies on more of the similarity of the two pitches, almost like a Zach Greinke with only a 3-mile-an-hour difference. Makes sinker and changeup look the same until they divert right before the plate.
With one away, here's Andrus. And Estrada, Tom, put up some terrific numbers, in particular following the All-Star break. Only teammate David Price had a better earned run average following the break than Estrada in the American League.
Well, the other thing I'm impressed with is really no difference between right-handers and left-handers. That's very unusual for a guy who features the changeup as much as Estrada does. That's how good it is.
And that's usually the case, Tom. Greg Maddux made it a little more vogue to throw a changeup to right-handed hitters, and a lot of guys didn't do that in the past, and some left-handers have started to do it to left-handed hitters, and that has been a big part. But watching Estrada, it's picking up the arm speed. That's why Prince was so fooled. You can throw an 89-mile-an-hour fastball because he was looking for a changeup, but the arm speed looks the same.
Andrus, deep center field. Pilar on the run, on the warning track. He makes the catch up against the wall.
Tell you what, he's a great center fielder. Just getting a chance, like I talked about in the open with Rougned Odor. You see Pilar play every day. You see how good a player he is. Look at him square in the middle. Takes a read step, and now he's going straight back over the shoulder. This is just a great, easy, athletic play. Knew where he was at, knew there was contact coming. See him put the right arm out, knows where he's at. He felt the track. It's a nice play. He made a great play look simple, and that's what great players do. He's my Gold Glover. He wins the Gold Glove this year.
Superman.
Estrada agrees with you. Well, you see the numbers. Josh Hamilton hitless in his last 30 postseason at-bats. It's the third longest streak in baseball history. 0 for 10 in this series.
I've never seen a guy pitch to the same way constantly. Going back to the last series of the year, the Angels threw him one fastball in 4 games. It's been soft and softer from the Jays.
Easy play for Colabello. Takes it to the bag himself. Hamilton now 0 for his last 31. Rangers retired in order in the second. All 12 batters in the game have been retired over the first 2 innings. We move to the third as Martin Perez gets set to face the Blue Jays catcher, switch hitting Dioner Navarro. Navarro first pitch, center field to Shields on the run, reaches out, can't get to it. Extra bases for Navarro in his first at bat of the series.
You know, we're talking about adjustments, and Navarro takes away the off-speed pitch. He moved towards the pitcher. You know, I've seen 2 adjustments now the Blue Jays are making. COLABELLO with the changed closed stance a little bit, and Navarro up in the box. Look where he's at. Up in front of the box a little bit more. And now you're going to take away any changeup and that ball sinking before it gets a chance to get to that dip on you. Somebody had to make an adjustment eventually. His offense has been scuffling.
Difficult play for DeShields. That ball directly over his head. Was never able, didn't have time to get to the side of the ball to get a better read.
And that was the experience difference. We just saw Pilar make the same play basically. DeShields, normally an infielder, now playing in the outfield for a few years.
Speaking of Pilar, here he is at the plate. 2 for 9 in the series. Runner in scoring position for the Blue Jays here in the third.
One thing the Blue Jays do not do very well is advance runners. Situation here is job to get the runner over. Texas plays a much better situational game than Toronto, which obviously lives by the home run.
And I think with Goins on deck, you're going to see Pilar take a shot to try to drive in the run as opposed to maybe moving the runner up. We saw Goins able to do that on the ground ball the other day, and he tried to bunt as well. But these are the only guys that are going to do that, Tom. I totally agree with you. The bottom of this order. But not here. You've got Goins, and then you're going to be followed by the top of the order, and you're going to go back to Revere. So you got the 2 lefties back to back, the little guys in the lineup. So
how about those numbers on Perez with runners on base? I mean, it's staggering. I asked the Rangers about it, and they say that there's no common denominator to why there should be such a difference between bases empty and runners on.
A 1-2 to Pilar. He stays alive.
Said the other day, Pilar's high school coach was Mark Gubazov, longtime pitcher, Royals, hard sinker. He's probably threw him some sinkers in batting practice before, but Gubi was a tremendous pitcher. He's a broadcaster now at the Angels. But to have a guy that has that kind of experience to come down and coach you in high school age, there's no doubt that had a big impact on Kevin getting to the big leagues. Look out.
That's some tough BP, though. Your high school coach is out there dealing, former major league pitcher, sinking, cutting the ball on you.
Oh, you think you want to get to the big leagues, huh, kid? Okay. Those pitchers, man, when they throw batting practice, they get some flashbacks, too. Oh, you hit a ball hard on them? Hold on. Hit this one. Oh! Navarro's getting a huge secondary lead at second base. And I would not be surprised to see a throw behind him, depending on the pitch called and maybe the situation, but it's something to keep your eye on. As he gets his secondary lead, he'll hop off and be 30 feet away from the bag.
Diving play by Andrus. Runners on the corners, nobody out.
And it's interesting watching the infielders. The reason Andrus was in that position, I thought he was going to glove it and come up with the throw, was because he broke the whole Navarro a little bit. He bluffed him before the pitch. It put him in the right spot for the ground ball. Just wasn't able to hang on to it. Watch him here in the isolation. Now he breaks off, but he's right there in position because he was close enough to hold him. He just wasn't able to hang on to the ball. You see his presence of mind, though, Kenny. He knew who was running in Pilar, so he immediately looked to third. Once he kicked it, he knew there's no way I'm going to throw him out at first base. Let me see what Navarro thinks he's going to do. They got something working here, boys.
And it's the bottom of the order.
Yes.
Bottom of the order for the Rangers. The key up in Toronto over the first 2 games. So here's Ryan Goins. With first and third, nobody out.
Good idea. He's trying to bunt that ball towards second base, get that run in, a little safety squeeze on his own. I think it's imperative that Goins puts the ball in play. It's going to be hard to double up.
But he's got a real good chance of getting him in because the strikeout rate for Perez, not nearly what it was pre-surgery. Ground ball pitcher. Goins has a good chance of just getting this ball in play and getting the run in.
Saw it a couple of times from the Cubs in yesterday's game.
It's the one ball to double him up on.
Well, the Rangers able to turn two. But Navarro scores. Blue Jays lead 1-0.
Well, you see the athleticism of Odor. It's a routine ball. He kicks it. But watch how quick his hands are and presence of mind to touch the bag and still make the throw because he has the arm strength to do it. So a lot of things from him on that one little simple ground. The one place to hit the ball, Tom.
Well, again, Martin Perez, you're going to get ground balls. That's why the bunt, I thought, was a good idea. Right there, you trade 2 outs for a run instead of 1.
Here's Revere, who bounced back to Perez. His first time up. So a leadoff double for the honor Navarro. He comes around to score the game's first run.
Yeah, it's almost like wah. But you know what? You got to run. They've been struggling to score runs, so put a run up early always puts a little more pressure on that offense.
What was it almost like?
You know, you had first and third, no outs. You're thinking big inning.
Bring me back to Saturday morning cartoons right there.
Broken bat right back to Perez. Middle of the third in Arlington. The Blue Jays have taken a 1-0 lead. Run coming home on the double play turned by Odor. Game 3, American League Division Series. Blue Jays with a 1-0 lead. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Rougned Odor leads off for the Rangers. He's 2 for 7 in the series. He has scored 5 runs.
Yeah, he's been hot right now, swinging the bat. This is the biggest change in all of baseball for me. A little guy like Rougned, look at the defense. They got a shift on. You can't shoot the ball the other way. Right?
Yes.
That's the biggest change in the game of baseball, because a guy his size, and I know he's got a little pop, he's got 16 home runs, but you would think he's got to shoot the ball over the field to be in the big league.
That's just it. As John Daniels, the GM, said, he's 5'7". He thinks he's 6'7".
You know, it's pretty impressive when you're the first to do something in baseball history. Odor, first player all time to score 5 runs in his first 2 career postseason games. He's the 8th all time to score 5 runs in the first 2 games of the series.
Wow. Being on that board with names like that.
Luke Gehrig on the board.
But none of those guys ever did it in their first 2 career postseason games.
Well, there's Jimmy Rollins on that board. He's still active. No.
Odor down on strikes. 1 away. We spoke between innings with Ranger skipper Jeff Bannister. We asked Jeff if Adrian Beltre tried to talk him into the starting lineup today.
No, he didn't. You know what? We watched him in a workout, and we just felt like that we need to give him another night. He's available to us. We need him off the bench, so we'll keep him rested.
Hey, Jeff, that's a big double play ball right there. What are you seeing from Perez? We're watching a good sinker tonight.
Good sinker. You know, he got the 1 first pitch there to Navarro. Then Navarro was able to barrel to center field, but still good sinker, good changeup. Breaking balls in play right now. As long as he's getting the ball on the ground, that's what we're looking for.
Jeff, Josh Hamilton obviously can break out at any time. Do you see him getting closer?
Well, you know what? We see some swings there. You know, he went after the changeup, then they went the fastball in hard on him, but we'll see what happens this second time around.
Thanks, Jeff. Good luck.
You got it.
Jeff Bannister in his first season as manager of the Texas Rangers. And you talk about perseverance. 29 years in the Pittsburgh Pirates system as a player or coach at the major or minor league level. He had bone cancer in high school. Almost necessitated the amputation of his leg. And then in college, injured in a home plate collision. He was paralyzed for 10 days.
Been through it. Miracle man over there walking.
1 major league at bat. 1 for 1.
All right. Moonlight Graham. He's a doctor, too. He's done it all. That's amazing, the story of him going through the cancer and being able to battle and still get to the big leagues and fulfill that dream of getting there. It's pretty impressive. And now here he is sitting with a 2-0 lead in the division series as a manager.
He talked about all the influences, especially from that Pirates organization there. He carries into his first postseason, going back to Chuck Tanner, Jim Leland, Clint Hurdle. He actually took a lot of those Pittsburgh philosophies here to Texas. And you know, by that I mean there's no one in baseball other than the Pirates who really emphasize the ground ball so much. Everything they do is predicated on what pitch can we throw, in what area, in what count to get a ground ball. And that is what he has brought here. It's still in a work in progress, but strides they've made this year, pitching and defense.
Yeah, Ron Washington, when he got here, he really stressed that defense when he was managing those teams, and it became a staple of this organization because they were a poor defensive team.
Torinos pops it up. Goins makes the play for out number 2. Jeff Bannister, catcher and first baseman, minor league manager in the Pirates system, major league field coordinator in the minor leagues as well, and the Pirates bench coach over the last 5 seasons. returning to his home state. Lives in the Houston area. His dad, a longtime high school football coach.
You know what I find interesting about that is he went major league coordinator to minor league coordinator, and he's probably thinking then, when am I ever going to get a shot?
Alberto, center field, long run for Pilar, and he can't get to this one. First hit of the game, first base runner for the Texas Rangers.
I've been so impressed with this kid. They've thrown in the fire. He didn't have hardly any at-bats in September. He's played double-A ball this year, a little bit of triple-A. He's up in the big leagues. But here's the advantage.
Now watch the first step of Pilar when this ball is hit. You see him freeze right there? That's something that Anthony Ghost, now with the Tigers, taught him in the minor league system with Toronto. He calls it a read step. A lot of coaches will teach first step back right away. Pilar likes to take a read step first and figure out where the baseball is. In that case, he just didn't have time to get there.
So Alberto, who drove in the game-winning run at the top of the 14th in Game 2, is on with a 2-out double. Shields fouls it back. He flies to center his first time up.
Well, we've seen 3 balls hit the center field tonight, and they're the most difficult balls for a center fielder to play. The ball right at you. And it's very rare to see these guys hit. DeShields had an effort. His didn't get it. Pilar made the catch on one. That ball bounced over the fence. But I love the reads on both those.
The 0-1 to DeShields, 0-2.
If you see where the defense is playing, a lot of times 2 outs, you want to play back, dive, and knock that ball down in the infield, right? But if you look at Tulowitzki, who's got a cannon for an arm, because DeShields runs so well, he still has to play in because he can get down the line so well. He can't sit and camp on the grass and think he's going to be able to throw him out on the grounder.
Right field, Bautista. 3 innings in the books. It's Game 3. Blue Jays with a 1-0 lead. MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Stay connected with highlights, replay reviews, scores, pitch tracking, live radio broadcasts, and more. Download the At Bat app. And you can have some snacks while you're doing it.
What is better than that? Being at the ball game on your iPad, and I think that's fried bacon on a stick.
Well, it's all over his face. We can ask him. He's drooling on the side.
Why don't we send Ken Rosenthal up to find out? Well, Josh Donaldson leads off for the Blue Jays. Grounded to third his first time up. 1 for 8 in the series following a tremendous regular season. 41 home runs, 123 runs batted in, which led the league.
Haven't seen that back foot slider from Perez yet. Donaldson has good numbers on Perez, and one of those back foot sliders a few years ago hit for a home run.
He's got good numbers on everybody this year. He's had an amazing season.
Now Perez wants a new set of signs from his fellow countryman Chirinos. Natives of Venezuela.
Oh. Do a little backdoor cutter. Ball's just sinking so hard. Breaking ball, tries to pull it back up.
Off pitch to Donaldson, and he fouls it off.
When you're battling like Toronto and you're down to that last desperation game that they're in, you got to hit your pitches. When you get a pitch to hit, the guy hangs one to you, you have to get it. You get about one pitch in that bat if you really get a good count working like Donaldson is right here. Continue to work the pitcher. You've seen a lot of pitches.
Center field, DeShields, long run to his left, diving intent, can't make the play. It rolls to the wall. And Donaldson is in at second with his second extra base hit of the series.
It's a great at-bat. You know, he stayed with it again. Again, he did not miss the one pitch he got. And, yeah, he got there in the 7th pitch. But, man, Shields thought he had it. But this ball is a tracer. Look at where the Shields is at. And watch how fast this ball outruns him. He's there, and it just takes off. And this young man can fly in center field. Ball's torched. But I love the backup by Shin-Soo Choo. You can dive if you know your other guy's going to be there to hold him to a double.
Leadoff double for the second straight inning for the Blue Jays. Bautista struck out his first time.
Well, we watched him get in trouble last inning, 1st and 3rd. He got the double play ball to get out of that inning, but he's in some trouble right now.
You see Bautista there a little upset with himself. As you said, H, there's very few times where you get what you think is your pitch in an at-bat, especially in a hitter's count. Had a great rip at it, just missed it.
Have a little conversation. A lot of times, here's a look at that pitch, Tom.
It's probably more up than Perez wanted. Just pulled off just a hair.
You saw the conversation with Elvis Andrus, the catcher. A lot of times when you get a runner at second base and you get in a playoff situation, you see a swing like that, it's time to change the signs, boys. He's on a pitch that he shouldn't be on. You felt like he shouldn't be on that pitch. You change your signs, and that's what that conversation at the mound was when you're watching those guys come to the mound. And now you feel like, okay, he's not on us anymore.
Laughing watching before this pitch.
fastball here from Perez. Chirinos knocked the ground with his glove, trying to trick Bautista, listening for the sound, expecting you hear that catcher's mitt on the ground, emphasizing the curveball down, or changeup.
Look out. Oh, that is a missile into the Rangers. Above the dugout over there. Tom, we were talking about foul balls in the stands up in Toronto. And because there's not a lot of people that grew up playing baseball in Canada, they're not used to catching a lot of balls into the stands. Not many people are catching that one anyway.
That's a well-earned souvenir right there.
But you know what? I like that timeout by Elvis to change the signs. Just the comfort in feeling like they can't be on your signs is big.
Center field to Shields. Couple of steps to his right. One away. Donaldson on his way to third. And he is in.
It's a big play by Donaldson right there. Bautista actually did his job. And that's why you see the high fives. You want to get that runner to third base with less than 2 outs, and they did a nice job to execute. But Donaldson shows his athleticism here. It's a third base. So Shields comes up with a great throw, gets behind it. But look at Donaldson run. That's the other part of the package he brings. It doesn't have to be stolen bases to advance guys and have some athletic speed. I love that Donaldson right there.
Here we go again. Avoiding Encarnacion. Again with a ground ball pitcher. He's always one pitch away from getting 2 outs. It's the right move to make.
Well, the interesting thing here is with Donaldson at third, you're down 1 already. You're going to bring your infield in. So you're basically giving Encarnacion a base hit if he squares it up like he's capable of. And you put a runner at first base to give up the run. Now they say we'll elect to walk him. Like you said, they're taking the bat out of his hand. And you got a guy you may be able to double up.
Well, generally, I'm not a big fan of intentionally putting runners on base this early in the game. It just shows you the tremendous confidence Bannister has in Martin Perez to get a ground ball.
Well, tomorrow is another great day of MLB postseason action. Game 4 between the Royals and Astros, with coverage beginning at noon Eastern here on FS1, followed by a potential Game 4 between the Blue Jays and the Rangers, and then the 2 National League games as well on TBS. In Game 2, in the 8th inning, the Rangers walked Encarnacion to pitch to Tulowitzki, and he grounded out to end the inning. John Gibbons flip-flopping Colabello and Tulowitzki tonight. So it will be Colabello with first and third and 1 out.
Well, it just goes to show you it didn't matter if it was Tulo or not. The strategy is Encarnacion. But the other part of this, you don't see this move, Tom, this early in midsummer. This is the postseason, and you're looking to try to minimize the damage. They're taking a gamble here that you can get a ground ball and double them up. Encarnacion, the other thing about this, is probably not going to steal a bag. So you're going to keep that double play option in order. If that was a guy that could run, then you may not be thinking about doing that.
Guaranteed he's not running. With his speed and Perez so quick to the plate, he's allowed only 5 stolen bases in his career.
It also tells me the extreme confidence they have with the guys in the middle being able to turn and pivot. If they get the ball on the ground, they feel like they're going to turn a double play. And that guy right there, Elvis Andrus, doesn't get a lot of credit. Rudnev turns it well, too. He didn't like that call. But let's take another look at it. One thing that, I can see why he maybe didn't like it, but his catcher didn't help him either. It's a big block right there by the catcher. Chirinos on that. The ball gets past Donaldson scoring.
So after the intentional walk to Encarnacion, Colabello walks on 4 pitches, and the bases are loaded for Tulowitzki.
And the strategy doesn't change. You know, you saw 4 straight balls down. He just didn't throw the strike, but you're going to see the same thing with Tulowitzki too. You want him to roll over and get a ground ball, but that's a big play right there.
Yeah, Chirinos wearing out the grass there between home plate and the mound. A lot of conferences trying to nurse Perez through this inning. The trouble there was losing the command by as much as he did. Those 4 pitches, most of those, they were balls as soon as they left his hand. No temptation to get a swing.
So here's Tulowitzki, who bounced back to Perez to end the 2nd inning. Loaded, 1 out, strike 1.
Comes back a little breaking ball, maybe get that arm slot back. Get that confidence, get Tulo off that first pitch. Big at bat, guys. I know it's the 4th inning, but the way Estrada's throwing the ball right now, it's a big at bat. The Rangers aren't getting a whole lot of great swings either. If Toronto can get something to break this open, it changes the game quick.
23rd pitch of the inning. Missing away, 2-1.
Well, he's in trouble because the count and the fact that he does not have a go-to pitch right now, Martin Perez. Well, that breaking ball he threw to start the at-bat, that's generally the pitch he goes to get back to square, to get himself lined up, correct release point. Didn't work out in this case. Followed that with 2 balls out of the zone.
Well, the key for him is he's going to have to continue to pound, and Tulo's looking to make him get the ball up, right? Because you know when you got a sinker ball pitcher, your thought as a hitter is get the ball up. He's looking to try to get that ball on the ground and continue to pound. Even if he walks him or continues to fall behind, he's going to pound that ball down low.
And one more meeting.
And this is Jorge Posada all over again. But the point that we're making, this is the ball game, really. This is a big part of the game right here. I know people don't like the meetings. They want timeouts and everything else. But this 1 inning, Tulo jumps into one. You're down 5.
You saw Gigi Gonzalez and the Rangers pet, including the intentional walk. 11 of the last 12 pitches thrown by Perez have been balls. Nowhere to put Tulowitzki. Bases loaded, 1 out. 3-1. Again, Perez missing low and inside. Ball 4. Blue Jays lead 2-0.
Sometimes that's the gamble you take with an intentional walk. You take your pitcher out of his rhythm that he's in, and he hasn't been able to get it back together. But the stubbornness and the strategy doesn't change.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised he's still in the ball game. You know, there's no question struggling with command and mechanics right now.
I don't know if Gonzalez is quite ready yet.
There he is with the breaking ball again. See if he gets back to square.
3 consecutive walks issued by Perez. 1 intentional as Gonzalez continues to throw. And Navarro falls behind, 0-2.
Can't defend the walk.
Hamels and Gallardo started the first 2 games for the Rangers.
Bautista there was looking for a balk call on Perez.
I thought he balked the pitch before. He started and then he stopped.
In the dirt, 2-2.
It wasn't much. It was slight, and you know he started to start his pitch right here. This is the pitch before, right there.
Yeah,
that's a balk.
That's a balk. That little flinch there. Once you start your delivery, any motion, You must continue the motion. Clearly stoppage there. And one more meeting this time from Odor. They're doing everything but throwing the baseball for him.
Yeah, well, that's a meeting to get Gonzalez enough time to get ready. That's what that meeting's about. But yeah, they missed the balk right there. No doubt about it. It's so slight and subtle. And I know a lot of people think it's kind of a Bush League call. But the fact that you have your foot engaged in the rubber and you start your motion, you have to continue.
Full count.
A lot of times a guy will stop because you got a runner at second base. You're giving multiple signs. So he'll start, and then the catcher might throw down another finger and kind of throw the timing off of what might have been called. He's ready.
Pitching coach Mike Maddox.
Just breaking it open right there. Tulo on first base. That might be 3 runs.
Well, you worry too if you're the Rangers about all these stressful pitches in this one inning. I mean, he just doesn't look comfortable out there. Nothing, no go-to pitch. Looks like me in the pre-GPS days in the car being lost. Where am I? Where do I go?
That's the double play ball.
Andrus. Three consecutive walks, 1 run, inning-ending double play. Using hashtag MLB Memory Bank. Bottom of the fourth inning in Arlington. Shin-Soo Choo leads off for the Texas Rangers against Marco Estrada, who has allowed only one base runner over the first 3 innings. And Alberto 2-out double in the third.
Estrada sat around a long time over there that last half inning. So I'm curious how he's going to come after this first hitter and try to get back in rhythm and in stride. Right now he's looking pretty good after the first 2 pitches.
He watched as Perez threw 33 pitches in the top half.
That was awful nice. Nice people here, huh? Nobody fighting over that. You imagine trying to do that in some other ballparks? Them kids get mugged for that ball.
Like where? What do you have in mind?
People grabbing that. I think we might see that in the next couple of days.
Would you like to name any specific cities or ballparks?
I got to go to those ballparks. So no, that's okay. I'll pass.
The 2-2 from Estrada.
Well, that's a good at bat by Choo. I know he's a disciplined hitter, knows the strike zone, but for Estrada to be out of rhythm a little bit, it's a big at bat. Make him work a tad.
Payoff pitch to Choo, and he strikes out. Third strikeout for Estrada, 1 away. We spoke earlier with Blue Jays manager John Gibbons, and we asked John what his message to the team was prior to Game 3.
Well, you know what, guys, I had nothing to say to them, really. You know, they're in a good frame of mind. You know, they have been all year. They understand the importance of this game. It's win or go home, and it's a different group. They're always very relaxed, but you know, when a game starts, they're very focused and intense.
John, your fly ball starter is pitching to form. What do you see from Estrada?
Well, Ducci, I mean, he's on. You can tell. You know, he's even the ball that Alberto hit. I think he center cut that one a little bit. That's where he's vulnerable. For the most part, he's hitting the spots on the corner. He's got a good changeup, but he really needs to make sure he continues to work the curveball in, just for that extra pitch to keep that in their minds.
John, I know the last thing you wanted to see was a double play ball from Goins, but I thought it was interesting how he was going to bunt, pull a bunt, try to get things going, get back to the top of that order. How are you hoping that inning would work out?
Well, I didn't want him to bunt there. You know, you got Navarro at third base. You know, I mean, it's tough to score him, and it's tough to score him on a home run. But you know, yeah, we almost caught a break there. You know, when Odor bobbled it a little bit. But you know, the important thing, we got that run across. Now we got the meat of our lineup coming up. Hopefully, they can do some damage.
Thanks, John. Good luck.
Okay, guys.
Clearly that was an inning ago, so I wanted to explain that.
Prior to the top of the fourth.
Yes. You know, Prince Fielder's having fits with Estrada because of that changeup and the fastball. His arm angle, said it earlier in the game, looks like a fastball, and so he's tough to sit on. It's tough to pick up. He's making 90 look like it's 103.
I thought it was interesting what John Gibbons said about mixing in the curveball more. Really haven't seen maybe 1 or 2 of those. He actually came to the big leagues, or at least to professional baseball, as a traditional fastball curveball pitcher. The changeup, the story behind that one.
Well, I tell you what, the advantage of fastball changeup combination is the toughest in baseball to hit. When you have the same arm angle you're coming out of for a hitter to read. But what's the story?
The story is he's at 23 years old in A-ball with a 5 ERA in 2007. And a teammate on the Savannah Sandats, Clint Everts, showed him his changeup grip. He brought it into his next start, had a feel for it immediately, and said, this is going to change everything. And it has. And it's the same grip.
And that was when Estrada pitched in the Washington National system. Drafted back in 05 out of Long Beach State. He was a teammate for 1 season with his current teammate, Troy Tulowitzki.
And Long Beach State was pumping out some players at that time.
Evan Longoria on that squad as well back in 2005.
Dirt dogs.
Mitch Moreland grounded out to the second baseman. Goins his first time up.
Woo! There's the curveball. Boy, he just looks so locked in. See the fingers getting off to the side. He's giving you a little bit of that Andy Pettitte look with the glove in front of the face as he takes the sign.
Oh, 1-2.
Well, he's doing a couple of things. Now he's starting to mix in the other off-speed pitch, but we touched earlier on his windup. What that does when you have that slow start hesitation, he starts at you, turns aside, pauses, and then he pauses in his delivery. It freezes you from being able to start your swing. Hitters hit on rhythm and timing. Normally when that pitcher goes back, you go back, or you get your jab step, or you get your hand movement. And when he freezes you, it just gives you that kind of out in front shucks feel to a swing. It's almost like Cueto's shimmy shimmy on you.
The 2-2 from Estrada. Left center. Revere able to make the play. So the Rangers with only one base runner against Estrada over the first 4 innings. Find new roads. By Bank of America, who invite you to share your favorite baseball memories all postseason. And by the Quesarito and Volcano Quesarito big boxes. Grab them at Taco Bell. Top of the 5th here in Arlington. Blue Jays lead the Rangers 2-0. A run of the 3rd, a run of the 4th off Martin Perez, who threw 33 pitches in the 4th inning. Walked 3 in a row, including 1 intentional. And then Navarro rounded into an inning-ending double play.
And that double play was big because that puts him back in the game. Oh! And he continues to have the same problem. He just doesn't have a low ball ump. He's not getting that call. He's not missing by that much, but the umpire's been consistent with the zone he calls. It's just not a good matchup right now.
Alfonso Marquez behind the plate. Up the middle, base hit for Pilar. So the Blue Jays have the leadoff man on for the 3rd straight inning, and the ball gets away from DeShields. Pilar is in at second.
The ball just kicked on him. That was such a slow developing play. Pilar had stopped and was heading back to first, and he just missed it.
There's no other way to describe that. No. That's a clank. That's it.
You know, again, I was talking about him being an infielder, and he fielded that almost like an infielder would, instead of like most outfielders might get down to a knee or really know that you're the last line of defense and knock the ball down more than anything else. He's a work in progress. He's still learning, but man, he's got some huge upside.
Upset with himself, as you saw. Here's Goins. He grounded into a double play. His first time up. Lays down the bunt. Moving Pilar over to third as we head downstairs to Ken Rosenthal. Ken.
Kenny, surprising decision from Major League Baseball. Chase Utley of the Dodgers has been suspended for games 3 and 4 of the National League Division Series. A 2-game suspension. Chief Baseball Officer Joe Torre issuing a lengthy explanation of why he made this decision. He first said that it's extremely difficult to distinguish for an umpire between an illegal slide and a difficult hard slide by a player. It's just something in real time that is not easy for an umpire to do. Torre went on to say that he still believes Utley was in violation of the rule that is designed to protect fielders from precisely this type of rolling block that occurs away from the base. And finally, and most importantly, perhaps, Torre said that baseball has been in discussion with the Players Union about potential rule changes to better protect middle infielders, and they intend to continue those discussions this offseason.
All right, thanks, Ken. And Joe Torre is here at Game 3 of the American League Division Series. So Chase Utley will miss games 3 and 4 in New York tomorrow and Tuesday.
Well, it's a well thought out decision. I was kind of surprised they suspended him too. I didn't think that was coming down, but clearly they looked at a lot of things and weighed that. Nobody understands the postseason more and important of your roster than Joe Torre. So I know it was a struggle for Joe to come down with that decision. But if he felt like that was best served, I also think we had so much scrutiny and such attention on this play, something had to be done by Major League Baseball.
Broken bat. And Odor made the play. Double play to end the inning.
What a play by Odor. This ball's dying. Pilar's going on contact, and that's what happens on the contact play. Once this ball's made contact, watch him go get it. He knows the runner's going, and he just picks it off the carpet. Great play. He knew if he catches it in the air, I got 2. And that's what happened.
What a play. Rougned Odor continues to shine for the Texas Rangers.
this situation, I don't necessarily agree with it. You got Revere up. I want to make that ball go through. I got Donaldson followed by all my big bats. So you want that ball to go through in case of something like this happens. I got a runner at third base. They're giving me a run, and you took yourself out of the inning by going on contact. Even if that's a short hop to Odor, and they throw home and Pilar safe, I don't like the play.
Yeah, certainly understandable. Extreme ground ball pitcher, extreme ground ball hitter, and a team facing elimination.
So the Rangers turn a double play for the third consecutive inning.
And those have loomed large.
Offensively, Texas with only one hit over the first four as Andrus pops it up, shallow left. Tulowitzki calls off Revere, one away. Official caps, hoodies, jackets, and more. Celebrate with your favorite team at the MLB.com shop. Josh Hamilton, 0 for 1 tonight. 0 for his last 31 in the postseason. That is tied for the second longest streak all time.
It's hard to believe. Who's he tied with?
Well, Dan Wilson holds the record, 42 straight at bats for the Mariners, 95 through 2000 without a hit. And as you saw, Harold, Marv Owen of the Tigers, 1934-35, went 0 for 31 as well.
Well, if they keep throwing Josh changeups every pitch, he might catch Dan Wilson because he's not close to those changeups right now.
Well, Josh Hamilton relies so much on timing. There's so many parts to his swing. And the way to upset that timing, nightmare for him, a pitcher like Estrada, who changes speed so well and has that slow delivery. He's not sure when to get the swing started, pitcher to pitcher.
There's a base hit for Hamilton.
And that's why you're playing. You're probably wondering, why are you playing this guy if he's struggling like that? Because he's got that thunder, and you never know when he's going to break out.
I'm wondering why you threw him a fastball.
He's a guy who hits off a fastball and adjusts. And clearly, the way he's swinging through those changeups, he wasn't going to all of a sudden sit on it now. This is what he's waiting for, and he got it.
So Hamilton will remain tied with Marv Owen, second longest streak all time at 0 for 31 as Odor steps in. He struck out his first time up. Hamilton, the second base runner of the night for the Rangers. By the way, Harold, I know you were wondering about Marv Owen. Game 7, 1934 World Series. He was knocked down in a hard slide by Ducky Medwick at third base. Commissioner Landis at the time removed Medwick from the game. It was the first ever World Series ejection. The fans were so upset, they allegedly threw vegetables out onto the field.
Wow. What do you mean by allegedly? They might have been fruit?
See what?
Well, I wasn't there.
I think that plays into the suspension of Utley a little bit too.
Right.
To be honest with you, he's going to Citi Field, and that's going to be a hostile environment. And I think Joe Torre said, "Look, we're going to pull him out right now." And notice it wasn't through the rest of the series. If they go back to L.A., he's back eligible again. But sometimes you got to be able to look between the lines of protecting things and different stuff like that. But I think it was a wise move. I'm sure that Chase will come back and probably want to appeal, and this could be a tit-tat thing.
Odor called out on strikes. Fourth strikeout.
There's your curveball, Tom.
This is what John Gibbons wanted to see. Mix in a few more of those breaking balls. Locks up a very aggressive hitter.
Torino's to the plate, downstairs to Kent.
Well, Harold, you are right. This is not over yet with Utley. He is going to appeal, and one part of that appeal will be a demonstration, I expect, of numerous similar slides over the years that have not resulted in discipline.
Yeah, if you go back and you look at Chase Utley, he has duplicated that swing, that slide, I should say, several times. You know, as a middle infielder, I have a little bit of a different take on it too. I know a lot of people coming down on Chase Utley, and it looks dirty. The way it came out, it's legal within the slide. It looked like, but I also thought it wasn't a double play ball. And I felt like, even though Tejada's injured, and it's hard to say this, he put himself in harm's way by spinning. We'll get into that later.
There's Donaldson, fires across, and that will do it for the Rangers in the 5th. What is the only team in the last 30 years to lead Major League Baseball in home runs and win the World Series? Blue Jays led all of baseball during the regular season with 232 home runs this year.
I mean, I'm thinking the Yankees with those teams they had to be one of the teams, or had to be the team.
Oh! Give the viewers a couple of minutes to think about it.
I know. I see Tom churning over there.
I'm thinking this one over.
Working it.
Have to learn how that Tom writes the questions.
Get off the Google, Tom.
Donaldson doubled his last time up. Over the last 3 innings, the Blue Jays have had 7 base runners, but the Rangers have turned 3 double plays.
Been big, and they've done it effectively. How he's pitched around guys to set it up. It didn't work out immediately, but that inning was able to get out of it. I go back to that runner on third base, though, with Revere up, and I know Donaldson's coming up next. I got to make the ball go through. The infield's drawn in. That's a tough call to send him on contact for me.
Well, for me, the biggest pitch was double play with Navarro. 33 pitches deep into a really torturous inning. Traffic all over the freeways, and he executed when he had to.
Up the middle, off the glove of Odor. Donaldson safe at first.
That ball's smoked, but look at the range of Odor. If he's able to hold on to this, I think he's got to play at first. This ball just kind of kicks up at the last second off the palm. When you go to backhand a ball, you want to get it in the web of the glove. It ended up being in the palm, and that's going to almost be like an ejector pad out of your glove. He just wasn't able to glove it.
Second hit of the game for Donaldson. Tom, you mentioned the 33 pitches thrown by Perez in the fourth inning, only 7 in the fifth.
Yeah, he needed that inning. You know, talking about the double plays with Perez, huge part of his game, obviously. Just to give you an idea, the average situation, about 11% of the time when it's in order, pitchers will get a double play. He's at 19%. You talked about a good game for him, activity in the infield.
When you got another hard slider at first base, as an infielder, you got to know what guys come in hard and who doesn't. And Donaldson, he got hit in the head the other night in Toronto, but why does he get hit in the head? Because he's coming in hard. And he's sliding late, and he's going to take you out. So as an infielder, you have to know all those things. And, you know, real quick, I'll put a period on this thing with Utley, but Tejada's got to know Utley's on first base. He's taking him out in the pass.
Bautista left center. Donaldson on his way to third. And he is in. First and third for the Blue Jays with nobody out here in the sixth.
So impressive. Impressed, I should say, with Donaldson's speed. The ground ball to Odor, flying down the line to first, and then right there, first to third. The ball hung a long time. It looked like the Shields might have an opportunity to get to this ball. But to go first and third, it just sets up your inning. Watch Donaldson in the corner there. He reads it, sees it, and he's going to explode without hesitation, and he lays one out with the head first slide. Doesn't get a big lead, but he's going to make it all up reading the ball the whole way.
One of the rare fastballs to Bautista that was actually over the inside half of the plate, and that will lead to the end of Perez's night.
He leaves his first career postseason start trailing by 2. Our Budweiser game summary. Blue Jays lead the game 2-0. Rangers lead the series 2-0. Tulowitzki bases loaded walk in the fourth. Donaldson with a pair of hits. And Josh Hamilton ended his 0 for 31 in the postseason. New pitcher for the Rangers, 23-year-old right-hander Chichi Gonzalez, first-round pick by the Rangers 2 years ago. Made 10 starts, 4 relief appearances during the regular season. Replaces Martin Perez, the Rangers starter, with runners on first and third, nobody out, top of the sixth inning. Edwin Encarnacion at the plate. 0 for 1 with an intentional walk.
Well, Toronto's got to break this inning open. You know, they've let the Rangers hang around with the 3 double plays you talked about earlier, Ken. And in these playoff games, you continue to let a team hang, that's when you get burned. And this, you got a big inning set up, first and third, no outs right here. You got to capitalize.
Oh, I think just all those stress pitches that Perez had to make finally caught up with him. Situation here where you need a ground ball. The time had run out on Martin Perez.
Rangers have turned a double play in each of the last 3 innings defensively. And the Blue Jays, thanks in large part to those double plays, just 1 for 5 tonight with runners in scoring position. Donaldson, the runner on third. Bautista over at first. The 0-2 to Encarnacion. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's a big pitch right here. Got to make sure he buries a ball down, doesn't hang a breaking ball or give him something to get that run in. You're still looking to get a ground ball, even though you may not be a ground ball pitcher. And Encarnacion, he's looking to make sure he doesn't miss a pitch if he gets one to battle in this at bat.
Probably a slider pitch right here. Fastball slider guy. It's interesting to see a guy who has been a starting pitcher. His stuff playing up a little more out of the pen, and adrenaline doesn't hurt either. Velocity up a tick a tree.
A 1-2 fouled off to the right side. The Rangers bullpen terrific over the first 2 games of this series, allowing only 1 earned run in 11 innings of work.
Well, that was the biggest change for this team. I know, talk about the Cole Hamels trade, but also coming in that trade was the left-hander from Philly as well. I'm losing his name right now.
Jake Diekman.
Diekman was a big part of it, and they changed this bullpen, and now we're in the postseason. It's a bullpen game. It may not look like it, but Encarnacion's winning this battle right now. Seeing a lot of pitches. He's fouled off. If you can foul off the guy's nasty out pitch to live for another pitch, this is a great at bat for the hitter. I know he's sitting 1-2, but he's feeling pretty good right now because he's seen all his stuff.
That's a case where a pitcher throws the pitch exactly how he wanted to throw it. It's a strike, and now it's a ball. Better job at Encarnacion staying off the slider.
He's seen it enough. He's seen the ball. This is danger coming.
Colabello on deck. First and third. Nobody out. Gonzalez on in relief of Perez.
Throw, but just break his rhythm a little bit at the plate.
By Alberto. Donaldson scores, and now it is ruled a foul ball, so Donaldson will head back to third base, and Encarnacion to the plate.
That's a nice read by Alberto, and maybe even better call by the umpire. This ball barely foul, and that's questionable, but it seemed to look home. He had no angle, and to go to first, and he's going to shut down and possibly extending the inning. But
nice job by Dan DELINO, the third base umpire. Normally that is control of the home plate umpire until it gets to the base, but Dan was also all over it, looking right down the line.
Ninth pitch of the at-bat to Encarnacion, and Gonzalez misses inside, so the count is full.
All he's got left is the kitchen sink. He's shown 4-seamer, 2-seamer, changeup, and slider.
He's feeling good right now.
Best pitch, slider.
Let's see if they send Bautista.
Ball 4 to Encarnacion. Blue Jays have loaded the bases.
That was a dangerous save. Sometimes a walk for a pitcher is better than throwing a strike. I'm telling you, Encarnacion was so locked in. When you're laying off pitches on the black and you're fouling balls off to get it to live for that pitch you want, you're in trouble.
Well, we've talked all series about really how Texas pitches this thunderous Toronto lineup. The strike ball, the ball that starts out as a strike and goes off the plate out of the strike zone. Tonight, Toronto's done a much better job not taking the bait, staying off those pitches.
Blue Jays loaded the bases in the 4th on 3 consecutive walks. They scored 1. Donaldson on 3rd, Bautista at 2nd, Encarnacion over at 1st. Colabello at the plate. Struck out in the 2nd, walked in the 4th. Still no outs here in the top of the 6th. Ball 1 to Colabello. Ross Ollendorf up in the Texas pen.
Remember, all this is coming off of the long game in Toronto the other night. So talking to Jeff Bannister before the game, we asked him, is everybody ready? He said everybody's ready to go. So if you're wondering, the bullpen's fresh. Plate's moving for the Ranger pitchers right now, though, Tom.
You know, it's like watching a long fuse run down. Danger right around the corner. Behind on the count. No place to put him.
Mission impossible.
Two and 1. Bullpen went 7 innings in game 2 for the Rangers on Friday, off day yesterday. Bases loaded. Nobody out. Top of the 6th inning. Blue Jays with a 2-0 lead.
Right here's where you go for that punch out, and then you got a chance to get out of this inning, believe it or not, with a ground ball if he strikes him out. This is where you got to put the ball in play this battle. Even if you hit to a double play, you're picking up a run at home. You got to put the ball in play.
Tulowitzki looming. Nowhere to put Colabello. Bases loaded. Nobody out. Two hits and a walk in the inning. Payoff pitch from Gonzalez. Line drive caught.
You don't want the ball hit to is one of the guys on the corner. Moreland, tremendous pick, took his time, threw a strike to the plate. This is a seed, a one-hop bullet. Moreland picks it, and watch him get back to first base and give the catcher an angle. That's the advantage, I think, of being a left-handed first baseman. Because now the catcher can throw to the inside. If he's left-handed, if he's a right-handed first baseman, he might hit the runner going down the baseline. Being left-handed, he has an outside lane on the inside to throw the ball to. An open lane, I should say, on the inside. It's a beautiful play.
So Moreland made the play on one hop. A double play in 4 consecutive innings.
Incredible.
Second and third, 2 outs. Tulowitzki strike 1.
Why I keep saying they're letting the Rangers, Tom, hang around. They've had many opportunities to blow this game open. They haven't been able to do it.
And once again, Troy Tulowitzki in the crosshairs in another big spot. Can he come through?
First team since the 2007 Diamondbacks to turn 4 double plays in a postseason game, but those were not in 4 consecutive innings. That was game 3 of the National League Division Series. Rangers have done it in 4 straight innings.
And once again, great job staying off that ball strike, the strike ball pitch. The slider again. And Toronto stays off. Tulowitzki gets himself in a good count.
Well, this is a great experience of Tulo. Look, he's got an open bag. They're going to make him have to hit a pitcher's pitch if he's going to swing here. They're not, even though the numbers might say he's not swinging back great, he's still Troy Tulowitzki. And so you don't want to flirt around with him. They're looking at the on-deck circle saying, hey, we got a chance to get out of it, but you don't let Tulo be the guy that beats you. He's going to hit something. It's going to have to be a pitch that he's going to be off the plate, and he's going to have to shoot it the other way probably. Unless they make a major mistake here, which I doubt they're going to do.
A 3-1, and it's popped foul off to the right side.
Yeah, that might have been your major mistake.
He missed it.
That is not where Gonzalez wanted the baseball. Slider. That's a strike. Never did it leave the zone. Stayed in the entire time.
And Tulowitzki with a drive, deep left field, and gone. 3-run home run off the bat of Troy Tulowitzki, his first hit of the postseason. Blue Jays lead 5-0.
Boy, and this is a big one. The 3-1 slider. Game 2 was saying, oh, they're going to pitch to me. When you wasted every pitch away with an open base, and all of a sudden you get 3-1, 3-2, and they changed their strategy. So now all of a sudden his thinking changes, and he juiced that ball. He's still Troy Tulowitzki. Forget the numbers. That's a bad man right there.
Well, there's an old saying in this game. You get one pitch in at bat to hit, you better not miss it. I never thought that was true. Pitchers aren't that good. And there's Exhibit A right there.
Navarro shoots it into right center. DeShields makes the play, so the Blue Jays load the bases, double play, and then this 3-run shot off the bat of Troy Tulowitzki. Middle of the 6th, game 3. 5-0 Toronto. Bottom of the 6th inning in Arlington. Andre Alberto leading off for the Rangers against Marco Estrada. Blue Jays with a 5-0 lead.
Well, it's been a strange game, huh? 4 double plays in 4 consecutive innings. It looked like they were going to get out of danger, but the man Tulo came up with a big knock.
On the day after he celebrated his 31st birthday, Troy Tulowitzki has driven in 4 of the 5 Toronto runs. His second career postseason home run. His first came in October of 2007 off the Phillies' Kyle Kendrick.
Stuff. Well, it was interesting watching that at bat because they were tiptoeing with fire the whole time, and it looked like with the open base they weren't going to give in, and they didn't really give in.
Shallow center, Pilar coming on, 1 away.
Giving in is like on 3-1 they threw him a slider, and 3-2 you come back with another fastball, right? But actually they threw a changeup and Tulo just smoked it. And here's the pitch. I see the grip right here. So they weren't giving in, and this again is the experience of Troy Tulowitzki, hitting in the middle of a lineup and understanding how they were pitching him in the at bat. He's not thinking he's going to get a fastball, not when they're burying sliders away, and then 3-1 he gets a slider, and you come back 3-2, throw him a changeup, he's all over it. And that's what happens with guys that can hit in the middle of the order and carry an organization like he did with Colorado for all those years.
That's a very curious decision to throw a changeup there. Right-handed pitcher, right-handed hitter with that run. That's what happens, runs right into the barrel, and that's probably his 4th or 5th best pitch.
Tulowitzki had been 0-for-11 in the series. He had driven in only 4 runs in his last 15 postseason games for tonight. Shields bounces one, and it got away from Donaldson into left field.
That ball's hit so hard it almost ricocheted to Tulo, and he might have had a play, although DeShields runs quite well. Here's the advantage again of having speed, right, and the threat of maybe being able to bunt. Look where Donaldson has to play. He's up on that grass. If he's back another step or maybe 2, he's out. But because he's got to honor the speed of DeShields, it opens the infield up for him.
3rd hit of the game for the Rangers off Estrada. Chu 0-for-2 tonight, 1-for-11 in the series. Bounce to the first baseman Colabello for out number 2.
You know, that ball to first base might have been the first time I saw Estrada leave the dirt of the mound.
Right.
And that's just to cover first base. He's been so impressive from pitch number 1. The mound presence.
Right here, they're discussing the sign and what they might go with, and with the runner at second base. But he has been, like you said, Tom, from the get-go, effective, and they got their hands full. I'm curious what happens with Prince, because we watched Prince swing through a ball that was 89 miles an hour, and he made it look like it was 105.
Fielder 0-for-2 tonight, 1-for-10 in the series. Remember, Estrada set career highs this season in wins, earned run average. Took a pair of no-hitters into the 8th inning and back-to-back starts back in June.
Sure did. Very exciting. I was watching those games, actually. Get great stuff like he does tonight. That's the pitch right there that has really foiled Prince tonight. He gets that changeup in that zone, and then he sneaks this little fastball. Here comes a changeup, And that's the same arm angle that he's seen in reading fastball. He's reading fastball right there. He pulled the string on it. And so he's got him in between the windup, and now he's out of the stretch. It helps him a little bit more. You see him jumping. He's just not comfortable. He's not picking the ball up off the strut at all.
Blue Jays GM Alex Anthopoulos spent 3 years trying to get this guy. Finally got his man, trading Adam Lind for Estrada. Now you guys might have noticed Troy Tulowitzki went to the mound after Estrada covered first base, buy his pitcher a little more time. I want you to watch him after the trip to the mound. Watch Tulo now. Is he going to go back to his position? No. He's going to second base. You say, why is he doing that? And he does it every time he goes to the mound, by the way. It goes back to his Little League days. His father was his coach in Little League. And they used the hidden ball trick. So every time he went to the mound as a kid, he would walk towards second just to see if they could pull off the hidden ball trick. And as a major leaguer, even though he has no shot of pulling off the hidden ball trick, he still does it.
That's a lot of extra mileage throughout his career.
I was trying to figure out where you're going with this story. That's pretty good stuff, you little detective, you.
Donaldson across. No hidden ball trick needed. Through 6. Game 3 of the American League Division Series. Blue Jays by 5. We bring you back to our Maytag trivia question. Only team in the last 30 years to lead Major League Baseball in home runs and win the World Series. The 2009 Yankees.
That's the team I was thinking about, too. I don't know which one of them I was thinking about, but I knew it was the Yankees somewhere. I mean, you got how many championships? 27?
Figure you had a good shot. The odds are in your favor.
Got a shot.
Alberto fires across to retire Pilar. One away. Well, tomorrow is another great day of MLB postseason action, highlighted by ALDS Game 4, Royals and Astros. Covers beginning at noon Eastern here on FS1, followed by Game 4 between these two teams if the Blue Jays win tonight, and they lead 5-0. The National League Division Series games tomorrow on TBS. Cubs, Cardinals, Mets, Dodgers.
That game at Citi Field tomorrow is going to be electric.
As Ken Rosenthal reported earlier, a 2-game suspension assessed today to the Dodgers. Chase Utley. Ryan Goins 0 for 2 tonight. On one hop, it is Andrus. Howard, you were talking about Yankee championships. Well, their former manager Joe Torre is with Ken.
Joe, first of all, the Utley suspension, the 2 games. What was the basis of that decision?
Well, Kenny, it was, you know, I was sitting behind first base dugout last night, and, you know, I know Chase plays very hard. And, you know, from my angle, it looked like it was just, you know, a hard slide. And it really wasn't until I looked at video later on that I saw how late the slide was and how he sort of followed Tejada, you know, and sliding into him. And it was really based on the fact that he slid, you know, very late, and it appeared to me that he hit Tejada and the ground about the same time, and then, you know, was more targeting the player as opposed to the base. And again, he certainly didn't want to hurt him. He was just trying to break up a double play, but I just thought it was a little bit much.
Now, his agent, Joe Wolf, issued a statement calling the decision outrageous and completely unacceptable. So the question is, Joe, why suspend Utley when there have been numerous other slides like this in the past that did not result in discipline?
Well, you know, I can't worry about what's happened in the past. I just based it on what I saw and the fact that, you know, we're trying to have rules that's going to keep these players on the field. And, you know, it's unfortunate. You know, Chase Utley's a great player. He's always played hard. I've always admired that about him. Unfortunately, this time, you know, his playing hard just, you know, it just happened to have a bad result.
Now, you mentioned in the statement that you've been talking with the union about a possible rule change to better protect middle infielders. What kind of thing, Joe, would you like to see happen?
Well, you know, and again, I go back to my playing days, even though, you know, I never got in a situation because of I didn't run very fast to get in a situation like that. But, you know, you want to go at the base. I mean, you know, I know you want to upend the second baseman or shortstop because he has the ball and break up a double play. But, you know, I think we're more concerned about, you know, keeping guys on the field. So we're talking more. In fact, we're in the Arizona Fall League. We're doing some testing on having the players go into second base as opposed to, you know, going for the infielder.
Joe, thank you very much. Kenny, back to you.
All right, thanks, Ken. Well, he says he didn't run very fast, but he did win the National League MVP award in 1971. Led the Yankees to 4 World Series in 5 years as their skipper.
Sure did. Well, it's going to be interesting because you got to run that through the players union. I know they got a lot of pushback on the catcher rule when that got changed. And they're going to get some pushback from this from the players if you want guys sliding straight into second base.
Yeah, the key for me is what he said about the lateness of the slide. You know, there may not be something literally in the rule book, but there is something in what's called the umpire's manual in discerning judgment. That goes back to the old Hal McRae flying body block.
Right.
Busted up. They outlawed that. But making contact with the infielder before you contact the ground, that's what's at issue. And that's what we've been seeing lately. And I think that's the real concern. So if there's a rule, and I talked with John Daniels, the Texas GM, about this, and he thought it was worth at least discussing. Make sure the sliding runner hits the ground before he hits the middle infielder. Seems sensible to me.
That clearly makes sense. I don't know. We'll see. I still think there's going to be a lot of discussions on this topic. No doubt about it. It's not going away. And it's good to have the debates and it's good to have the topics. I think the money has changed so much in baseball that when you have the players making the type of money you're making, the value that you're investing in, you want protected. And that's across the board, every sport. And that's playing in part of this too. And I understand it.
Donaldson at the plate, full count. Revere the runner on first, 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning. Bautista waiting on deck.
During all that discussion, Ken and Joe, that was a great interview and very informative. Rougned Odor made an incredible play. That's why we got the runner at first base. Now he's going to be off and running with Donaldson here on a 3-2 count.
Revere goes. Fastball misses inside. Ball 4 to Donaldson.
This is what I'm talking about. The slides just in the last week. Pay attention to the runner and when he contacts the fielder. That's Odor. That's past the bag getting Johnny Giavotella. This was a play where Donaldson had to come out of the game later. That was a little bit earlier. Watch Mike Napoli. Again, contacting the fielder before he hits the ground. And obviously the play with Utley. You know, we have rules against the targeting of the catcher. The guy at the plate, behind the plate, has equipment on. Nothing to protect, or not enough to protect the middle infielder.
Yeah, there's clearly going to be some conversation with that. That's great video, and those slides were exactly as you said. They were late. But I don't know. There's so much to talk about. I'm going to leave it alone, and we'll get into it another time. But we can go back and forth all day long. But I do understand why the suspension was handed down. People may not like it, and I thought Joe's answer of I can't worry about the past, I got to worry about right now is the message we need to walk out of here with.
That will be all for Gonzalez. Ollendorf in from the Texas pen. Pilar, the big blow. Tulowitzki, 3-run shot off Gonzalez in the 6th. He has driven in 4 of the 5 Blue Jays runs. The veteran right-hander Ross Ollendorfer in the save in game 2, facing Bautista with 2 on, 2 out here in the 7th.
You know, in this ballpark, things can happen quick. You still want to add on as many opportunities as you get. Here's another opportunity in the middle of the order to come up big.
Bautista 1 for 3. Single came around to score in the 6th inning.
And what you didn't see in that box score, what Bautista just did there and what Donaldson did. Really very few chase swings today on Blue Jays' part. Great strike zone discipline.
I think it's got all to do with the home plate umpire. It's been consistent.
Popped up to the left side. Andrus under it. And that will do it for the Blue Jays in the 7th. 7th inning stretch time in Arlington. Jay and Dan bring you live reaction and analysis from here in Arlington, plus complete highlights, full day of the NFL. Fox Sports Live immediately after our game on Fox Sports 1. Guys, it's Thanksgiving weekend north of the border. Jay and Dan, of course, are Canadian. Their families are watching. Jay's mom, Joanne. Dan's mom, Sandra, taking in the action here tonight.
There you go.
Happy Thanksgiving.
That's like sending out happy birthday wishes to their moms.
Canadian Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Pretty cool. A lot of Toronto fans here screaming, hooting, hollering after the home run by Tulo. See the jerseys are a little more present sprinkled around the stadium. Let's go back and look at the sequence of Tulo's home run since we got a chance here, because I thought knowing that they're going to try to pitch around him with an open base. There's the breaking ball. There's a changeup. He knows he's not going to get a fastball. There's another breaking ball. That's 3 off-speed pitches. There's number 4, and there's number 5. He fouls it back and gets another one. See you later. Puts it in the seats. And I really believe that, I know they had him hitting the top of the order when he first got to Toronto, and it worked out nice. But he's a middle of the order bat. Their mindset is different than the top of the guy in the lineup. He's hitting the middle. He knows they're not going to give him anything, and he got the pitch and handled it. And I thought that was the backbreaker so far in the game. That was a tremendous AB by Tulo.
StatCast powered by Amazon Web Services. As Mitch Moreland leads off for the Rangers here in the bottom of the 7th against Marco Estrada, who has been outstanding. He's thrown only 83 pitches through 6 innings, has allowed 3 base hits, has shut out the Rangers over the first 6.
Been watching him out of the windup. He's a tough to time. He's one of these guys, they're going to go back home at the end of the night and go, he topped out at 90. But it's not about the velocity. He's done a great job of executing all his pitches.
Pilar moving to his left, 1 away.
Well, it's all about the arm speed. Change up, the key is the arm speed. I want you to watch after he lets go of the baseball and follow his pitching hand. You talk about a true follow through, and this is all because of the arm speed. Watch the hand go all the way behind him and actually touch the left hip pocket. Now, that's reminiscent of Mario Rivera. In pitching, they call that deceleration. How fast does the arm slow down? You don't want it to slow down quickly. That's like jamming on the brakes.
Strike 1 to Andrus. Elvis 0 for 2 today.
Nobody better than Mariano. If you could copy those mechanics, that's the template.
Base hit left center. 4th hit of the game for the Rangers. Texas with a 1-out base runner.
Elvis has had a good night. He's been on some balls. That looked like a ball you'd think Tulo's going to pick. And that just took off.
You know, Estrada right there found himself backing up the play in an emergency situation and went down to the turf a little bit slow to get up.
And this is all because of Andrus's way he rounded the bag.
Watch Estrada right here.
If he doesn't run hard and round the bag, then the outfielder catches the ball and lobs it into second. But because Elvis gave it an effort, he came gunning to second base, thinking he might be going, and that's why it put Estrada in the position he was in.
Hamilton singled to right in the 5th inning, breaking an 0 for 31 in the postseason. Base hit right center. Andrus on his way to 3rd. Hamilton in at 2nd. As Bautista booted it.
This is the inning. They got to get at him. Estrada's deep in the game. He's into the 7th.
And that may be it for Estrada.
Ball kicked away. You know, it's funny. We're watching some sloppy play in the outfield. This is what happens. You see the bench reacting when you come off AstroTurf. And so, having played a number of years on turf, whenever you go to the natural grass again, you got to get extra work because the ball rolls differently. And you know, in that turf in Toronto, we talked a lot about how it slowed the ball down and gave you opportunities. We're seeing a lot of sloppy play right now.
Outstanding outing, Marco Estrada. Marco Estrada, outstanding in his first career postseason start. He goes 6 1/3, responsible for the Rangers on 2nd and 3rd. As the only left-hander in the Blue Jays bullpen, Aaron Loup will face Odor.
I'm a little curious, Kenny, where if you're going to bring him in now for Odor, why didn't you bring him in against Hamilton?
Right. In fact, he faced those two, Hamilton and Odor, in Game 2. The only two batters he faced.
You see it. This is their only left-handed reliever. John Gibbons trying to wait as long as possible to fire that bullet, because when the lineup turns over, you'll see Chu, Fielder, and Moreland back-to-back with no more lefties in the bullpen.
Right, because they lost
Brett Cecil.
Brett Cecil suffered the torn calf muscle in Game 2. He is with the team, but is
there's a new lefty
postseason roster. So David Price, the Game 1 starter, is up and throwing to the Blue Jays pen. Throw goes to first, run scores.
What a play by Tulo. Donaldson diving in front of him to stay with the concentration to get that ball. If you're Texas, you hope Donaldson catches it, because he's not going to throw Odor out. Now, what's frustrating to Donaldson here was because Elvis Andrus was on third and he bluffed to maybe steal home the pitch before. You'll see Donaldson break back first to almost hold Odor, hold the base runner at third, and then he has to go back and dive for this ground ball.
So Luke faces only one batter, Odor. Now 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Texas Ranger Mark Lowe, the veteran right-hander, third pitcher of the inning for the Blue Jays, with 2 outs, and Hamilton the runner on third. Torino's at the plate, 0 for 2.
Right now, the way the lineup is rolling over, Gibbons is getting his matchups. He wanted Lowell, and now he's got David Price up, so he can get the next inning and really bridge that to your closer at the end if you need it. But you wanted your right-hander to match up with right-handers, and he's got the next two hitters if he gets in trouble with this guy. We haven't got that pitch all night. But I thought this may be one of the best plates I've seen in the postseason so far. He's been consistent the whole night with his zone. That's all you ask for.
Two and two on Torinos. One run here at the bottom of the seventh for the Rangers after they fell behind 5-0. A 2-2 from Lowe. Foul back.
Well, the first question I asked John Gibbons today, with Brett Cecil being out, once you've used loop, where do you go to if you need to get out a left-handed hitter? I actually gave it some thought. He didn't have an answer ready. He said, well, I guess my closer, because of his changeup on lefties. And he talked about David Price being the emergency plan.
Well, I'm curious about David Price because you're set up right now with the rest of your normal bullpen to get you through the game. Unless you really get deep trouble. If Lowell does his job here, we're going to the 8th and 9th. And so if you think you're going to get through the rest of the series, you're going to have David Price come up big for you. You follow my thinking on that?
Yeah, he's warmed up so much. He'll be in the game next inning.
Yeah, he's going to have to.
Pitch to Torino for called strike 3. So the inning comes to an end. Hamilton stranded on third. Rangers score a run. We head to the 8th. Blue Jays look to stave off elimination. They lead 5-1. Official caps, hoodies, jackets, and more. Celebrate with your favorite team at the MLB.com shop. 5-1 Blue Jays. Top of the 8th inning, game 3. Broken bat. Encarnacion is retired.
My favorite windup in the game right now. Remember Paul Bird with the double pump? Ollendorf taking us back to when your guy Owen played, when he was 0 for.
Back in the mid-30s.
Yes. I'm going back to Bob Feller. That's the return of Bob Feller right there. The windmill delivery.
I love it. Tell you what, he's been so good out of the pen. He's transformed his game. But he said one day he was doing it down the bullpen, and it just fit, it just worked. Comes the big one. There it is.
Strike 1 to Colabello.
Now notice he keeps the ball in his glove. That shot we had center, he keeps the ball in his glove and he reaches in and grabs the ball out. It's very rare to see a guy do this. Watch this from this angle. Just watch the glove. The ball's in the glove.
Shallow right. 2 makes the play. 2 away.
Takes you back to the game is a kid's game, man. It's like playing wiffle ball in the backyard.
So you want to manage a postseason game? Where do you go? That's your ace.
Well,
emergency time.
Yeah,
elimination game.
Once he got up, Tom, it was no return. You said that last half inning. I totally agree. You have to put him in now. You can't get David Price up and warm him up, and think he's going to have anything later. You got to get it now.
Tulowitzki, 3-run home run. His last time up, he's driven in 4 runs in the game. After starting the series 0 for 11. Nothing in 2 on Tulowitzki. Downstairs to Ken.
Guys, Price went to the Blue Jays yesterday and said, listen, I am ready for anything. Pitch and relief in game 3, pitch and relief in game 4, start game 4 on 3 days rest. Obviously, if he comes into this game, he will not pitch tomorrow on short rest. In that case, the scheduled starter, R.A. Dickey, would go, and Marcus Stroman would be in line for game 5. Stroman also available in relief tonight.
All right, thanks, Ken. The 0-2 from Ollendorf. Price has not pitched out of the bullpen since one game in October 2010 for the Tampa Bay Rays. Last time out of the pen in the postseason back in 2008 in the World Series against the Phillies.
I get it. I understand the heroics behind it, but it doesn't make any sense.
Tulowitzki with a shot into left field, his 2nd consecutive base hit. Today's telecast sponsored by Esurance, official sponsor of Major League Baseball. By Fitbit Surge, the #1 selling GPS watch. And by Cricket Wireless, something to smile about.
I mean, to me, if you're going to win this series, and I know it's 1 and go home, but you've already lined up that you're going to go with R.A. Dickey, and you're talking Stroman now, instead of having David Price ready to go. He pitched the day before Stroman. He's more rested than Stroman. So at this point in time, you got a 5-1 lead. I think you can bring this home with your normal bullpen lined up.
Well, John Gibbons has 6 outs to control to extend his season. Once he got David Price up, I think you committed.
Exactly.
And I think a situation now, the first 2 hitters right-handed. That's why Aaron Sanchez is still throwing in the bullpen. Maybe Price can only face 1 batter, and then Osuna.
But my point is, David Price is done. He's a bullpen guy the rest of the way there. Unless you think he can come back and maybe pitch game 5.
You heard what he said, told Kenny. Do anything he needs to do.
All right. Well, if he comes back for game 5, it's great. Makes sense.
All hands on deck.
Game 5, if necessary, in Toronto on Wednesday. left. And it comes to an end. Middle of the 8th in Arlington. Still 5-1 Jays. Rangers won the first 2 games in Toronto, trail 5-1 today. Justin Smoke replaces Colabello at first base for the Blue Jays. And pitching in his 3rd straight game in this series for Toronto is the right-hander Aaron Sanchez.
You saw those splits right there.
And another look at David Price. Wow. In the pen.
And that's why Price is still throwing. The left-handers against Sanchez, dangerous.
Bounce to the first baseman Smoke, who just entered the game, 1 away.
Yeah, that's a huge out. This is the big part, because this is the question mark of the bridge to Osuna at the end. Sanchez can do his job or not, but I'm still trusting the 5-1 lead. I think it changes how you approach things a little bit.
There's R.A. Dickey, tomorrow's scheduled starter. He will turn 41 years of age later this month. Should he start tomorrow's game, he would become the oldest starting pitcher in baseball history in his postseason debut. He has never pitched in the postseason.
Wow. 41. Aren't knuckleballers supposed to be 41? It's just getting to his prime, right? Tell you what, I wish you guys at home could see what we see with Sanchez. You talk about electric arm. Wow. Ball is popping. 97. This is a legit 97. Ball's getting on the hitter in a blink.
On the ground to the second baseman, Goins. 2 away.
You got to leave him in, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that was, you had to give a starting pitcher plenty of time to warm up in an emergency situation.
Go Tampa Bay on him and have David Price turn the clock back and close the game in the ninth. But Sanchez he's got it going on right now.
He's needed only 5 pitches to record the first 2 outs of the inning. Strike 1 to Chu.
I think that's the way John Gibbons looks like the way he's playing it. Price is there in case he has to go to him. It's not like a normal relief pitcher where you can get a guy warmed up quickly to get into the game. You have to prepare for the potential emergency with the left-handers coming up, rally going 8th inning.
Well, the only thing I'm looking at is possibly a throw day for David Price as well. Pitched on Thursday, game 1. So he's off Friday, Saturday. Today's Sunday. Maybe he throws today. He's off Monday, Tuesday. He'd start Wednesday, you're saying, Ken, for game 5.
Wednesday would be game 5 if necessary.
He's been doing a lot of throwing out there. Between innings, he sat down, got up again, cranked it up again. Contingency.
A 1-2 from Sanchez. Now, Gibbons was asked before the game in a press conference about his game 4 starter. He said, well, let's hope there's a game 4. If things go as planned, you can expect to see Dickey out there. We also could have Price coming out of the bullpen. You could have anyone coming out of the bullpen because you have to win.
Yep. Oh, I get the whole all hands on deck. I get it. But I'm looking at the scoreboard. That was the only thing I was questioning.
Right.
Is it's 5-1.
Well, I talked to John Gibbons before this series about preparing for his first postseason as manager. He said he spoke with Jim Leland, an old friend of his, gave him 2 pieces of advice. The guys who get in trouble are the ones who are conservative, and be prepared to take the heat.
Yep.
Called strike 3.
Sanchez saved the day right there.
He retires the Rangers in order in the 8th. We move to the 9th. Game 3. ALDS 5-1 Toronto. Sean Tolleson, 35 saves during the regular season. On to pitch for the Rangers here in the 9th. He pitched 2 innings in Game 2, facing Kevin Pillar, who has 2 hits tonight. Blue Jays with a 5-1 lead. They scored a run in the 3rd, a run in the 4th, and then the big blow in the 6th. The Troy Tulowitzki 3-run home run. Off Ranger starter Martin Perez. I said Perez, it was Gonzalez who allowed the home run to Tulowitzki.
Yeah, you're right.
Tulowitzki with 2 hits, 4 runs batted in tonight.
Well, I started seeing signs. He hit some balls hard in Toronto, and you saw Josh Hamilton starting to come on too. They both swung the bat good tonight. Game 4 will be interesting if we get to Game 4. I'm not saying this is over yet because it's within striking distance. That's why it's a big half inning for Tolleson. Shut it down. See Osuna up.
Postseason baseball, such a manager's game, especially with your team facing elimination. All the rules of engagement go out the window. John Gibbons having David Price ready in both the 7th and the 8th innings. Didn't have to fire that bullet.
Right field. Chu reaches up, makes the play for out number 1. Team Mobile wants fans to share their passion, be part of the biggest 7th inning stretch. Post your photos and videos with hashtag the Big 7th and hashtag contest for a chance to win tickets to World Series Game 4.
I wonder if he's on T-Mobile.
He wouldn't mind attending the World Series.
No doubt.
Here's Ryan Goins 0 for 3. The Blue Jays, guys, in franchise history, have never won a postseason game when facing elimination.
3 times they've been in that spot. 3 times they've come out with defeat.
In fact, they are the only team in Major League Baseball that has never won a game in that situation when they could be eliminated that day.
Now that's fascinating. The only team.
Also the only team that has never won a game in a division series. Their first trip to the postseason since 1993 when they won their 2nd consecutive World Series. And how about John Gibbons? His only prior Major League postseason experience. He was the bullpen catcher for the '86 Mets.
Yeah, hit a home run that year too.
1.
I said,
Now 2 away. Goins 0 for 4 on the night.
That Gibbons was warming up the pitcher in the bullpen during that Game 6, 1986. Mookie Wilson ground ball to first base. And yes, he did get a World Series ring. Not on the active roster, as you said, bullpen catcher.
As you see, only 2 teams have lost the first 2 games at home and then come back to win a division series. Strike 1 to Revere.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen that more, because the firepower on a lot of these clubs when you get there that get down quick, you're in the postseason because you put together 3 games in a stretch in a row where you can win 3.
2001 Yankees, 2012 Giants. Looking ahead, Rangers have Fielder, Moreland, and Andrus due up in the bottom of the 9th. Center field, DeShields under it. So Tolleson retires the Blue Jays in order in the top of the ninth. We head to the bottom half. There's Troy Tulowitzki rounding the bases back in the sixth inning. A 3-run shot which extended the Blue Jays lead to 5-0. It is now 5-1 as we enter the bottom of the ninth inning. Prince Fielder stepping to the plate. 20-year-old Roberto Osuna on the mound. 20 saves during the regular season. He's the youngest player in all of Major League Baseball. He is the only Major League player, Harold, born at Tom in 1995. 95.
It's amazing. 20 years old.
Well, don't let that age fool you. No. At the age of 12, he went over to pitch in a tournament in Japan. They asked him to stay and pitch against high school kids in a league. He did for a couple of months. 2 years later, at the age of 14, he went to Italy, pitched against grown men. He told me, I've been pitching against people older than me my whole life.
Well, Prince is older than him. He'll face another guy older than him right now.
Strike one to Fielder. Prince 0 for 3 tonight.
You know, it's so funny how Sanchez had such great stuff. And how managers decide who's going to pitch that night. It's always been an interesting dynamic in baseball.
Fielder, center field. Pilar hesitated, and then he makes the play.
It's awful windy. You saw the ball with Sin-Shu Chu last half inning hit right at him, and he had to jump to catch. Pilar, this ball's hit so hard. Again, you see the angle, and he's reading this the whole way. It looked like the ball stopped, and it continued to come on, and he barely caught this ball. As you see it swirling and dancing on him, and there's the look at the wind right now, being pushed all over the place.
With one away, Mitch Moreland 0 for 3. For guys with the Rangers and Blue Jays 2 outs away from a Game 4, do you think we see Adrian Beltre tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too.
I think we do.
That's just a gut feeling. Felt a little better today.
2 out. Our Bank of America play of the game. 6th inning. Troy Tulowitzki. 3-run shot after he started the series 0-for-11.
Oh, that swing. That for Toronto. That's better than a hot bowl of chicken soup. That makes you really feel good because you get back to your home run hitting ways and you get one of your big bats going again.
Came up with a big hit after that as well. Josh Hamilton had a couple good swings tonight. These two are starting to heat up.
Here's Andrus. Left field. Revere. Game 4 tomorrow here in Arlington. Blue Jays win it 5-1.
Well, it's that guy right there. I think the middle of the lineup he's more comfortable at. He understood the situation with the base open at first base, and we're going to give him much to hit. The Blue Jays, Tom, showed great discipline tonight at the plate. I think that's why that was the difference in their performance tonight than in Toronto.
Well, that in the game that Marco Estrada threw. I mean, you talk about taking the ball, facing elimination, no tomorrow. Just loved his mound presence from pitch 1. Took the ball into the 7th inning.
So the Blue Jays, for the first time in franchise history, win a postseason game when facing elimination. It's their first postseason victory since 1993. 5-1 the final. We'll return to Arlington shortly for more post-game coverage. But right now, we send you to Los Angeles. It's time for Fox Sports Live. Take it away, Jay and Dan.